Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel Books Natasa, and today I have another author guide for you guys and I'm super excited to talk about. So let's just get straight into the video. So here we're gonna talk about one of my new favorite authors, and that is Cowles. She's a small town romance author. Many of you know that I'm in a huge small town romance kink as of late, and I'm having the time of my life. I recently finished reading all of the books in her backlist, and I couldn't be happier. I loved every single one of these books. They are incredible, and you guys should definitely read them. So I'm gonna start by the most recent series to the most old one, and that is also the order in which I read them. And at the end, I'm gonna mention the new release that is coming in a few weeks. So let's just get started because we have got a few books to talk about. First, we have the Tattered and Torn series, which has 5 books. The first one is Tattered Stars, which follows Evelyn and Hayes, and I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. In this one, we have Evelyn, which we see in first starting this book in the past, and she goes to the police station to report a kidnapping. So fast forward a few years later, she goes back to this small town that she used to live, but everybody hates her because the guy that she reported was her father. So she gets a lot of hate in this town, like it's her fault that her father was sick and all that stuff. Then she meets Hayes, who is the town sheriff, and also the big brother of the girl that was kidnapped. So that is like a super weird situation going on, but we see them coming to helping each other come to terms with what happened in the past, and also finding comfort and safety in each other's arms, and I just love that so much. This book was incredible and I loved it so much. Next, we have Falling Embers, which follows Calder and Hadley, and this one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This is a best friend's sister trope, and we meet Calder in the previous book as well because he's best friends with Hayes, and Hadley is Hayes' sister, so there is this whole situation. We know going into this book, we find out that Calder and Hadley used to have this super close relationship, and they were basically each other's heir. They helped each other finding a release when things got too hard at home. Hadley with her parents and Calder with his wife, and sometimes with his job because he's a firefighter, I believe. So yeah, after an accident happened involving Calder's children, he shut down basically and is afraid of everything and doesn't want to risk anything. So he pushed Hadley away. So that now there is this awkward tension between them. But then something happens and Calder realizes how idiotic he's been because he had pushed the only person that he cares about away, and he truly regrets it. So then he's like full speed ahead and tries to get back the relationship that he had with Hadley, and I just love it so much. I think this is my second favorite in the entirety of the series, and it's just an amazing book with my favorite tropes, and I just loved it. Next, we have Hidden Waters, which is the third book in the series, and it follows Addie and Beckett, and this one I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. Addie we meet in the first book because he's working with Evelyn in a bakery, I believe. No, tea shop. Tea shop. Beckett is his brother, so another brother. So yeah, Beckett has been away in Doctors Without Borders, I believe, but he came back in the end of the previous book to see Hadley. I'm trying not to spoil the end of the previous book, but so Hayes has decided to ask Addie if she and Beckett can be roommates for a while because he doesn't have any place to live, and Hayes has already given his old place to Addie because she also has a complicated situation going on with her past and her parents and all that. I'm trying not to spoil things because you do find out all of this stuff in previous books. So yeah, this is a super healing story and I loved it so much. Beckett from the beginning feels super protective towards Abby, and he's feeling super drawn to her, and Addie is starting to come out of herself and opening her heart and to Beckett, and I just loved it. It was an incredible story, and I love how it was resolved, and they are just such an adorable couple, and I had so much fun reading about them. Next we have The Shattered Sea, which is book number 4, and I gave it 4.75 out of 5 stars, and this one follows Bowden and Lycan, which we meet in the previous book because she works with Addie in an art gallery and we love her, she's incredible. So Lycan comes from a dark past because she had an accident, I believe, a car accident a while back, and she is still she was left with permanent damage, I believe, in her waist and legs. They are in pain basically, and she can't do anything about them. Then we have Bowden, who I believe is a songwriter. I'm not positive about it because I'm mixing up all the stories, but he comes to the gallery to buy something and he feels easily drawn to Lycan. So, but she doesn't want to let anybody in again because she was so hurt before. So they start to be friends and then lovers, and this book was incredible. I love watching how Boden was there for Lycan and the other way around. They were perfect for each other, and this was just amazing. Finally, my favorite book in this series, and that is Fractured Sky, and this is the 5th and final book, like I said, and it follows Cylon and Ramsey, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And Cylon we have met from the first book. She's the girl that was kidnapped. We have seen glimpses of her in the entirety of this series, but I was super excited to read her book, and it did not disappoint. This is my favorite book in the series. I loved Silas and Ramsey's relationship. I love how they were both loners and basically had sat down from the world. They wanted nothing to do with it. So when so Silo has become into Ramsey's ranks for a while now, for a few years, because she finds peace there and she feels like she can breathe. But Ramsey and Silo haven't talked at all because each prefer to be on their own. So fast forward to present day, Silo is having again a fight with her parents because they're suffocating her because of all the restrictions. She's not allowed to go out and all that stuff because they are afraid. But then she feels like she needs to talk to someone, so she decides to go and talk to Ramsey, and Ramsey is so shocked but also super happy that she took the first step with him. So yeah, so some stuff happens and Ramsey makes her an offer to come live in his ranch. Not together, there is a separate cabin, but so she takes up the offer, and because she's already there working with her horses and all of that, and so he decides to let her live there for now. But because he feels safe there and all that, and he really wants to help her, so yeah, Ramsey, even though he has super strong feelings for Silo, he doesn't want to push her, and he's not ready either to be in love with someone because he had a traumatic past, I believe. I'm not sure what it is because it's been a while since I read these books. But he and Silo become it is a slow burn romance, and it's such an incredible one, and there is a lot of healing in this book as well, and you just need to read it. This book is incredible. Next we have the Wrecked series, which has again 5 books. The first one being Reckless Memories, which follows Bella and Ford, and I gave this 4 stars. This was super weird for me. It was my first time reading Dead Sister's boyfriend trope, and it was good. I like how the author resolved it at the end, but Ford as a character wasn't my favorite because he truly hurt Belle, and as soon as he came back, he was again being a jerk, and then he felt cheated because he wasn't. She didn't want anything to do with him. So, and I mean, the audacity of him, and I was like super pissed at him. But then later, the relationship really loved watching them being friends, and then start to actually accept their feelings that they had for a long time. And I love how Catherine wrote all of that, and we also got to see a lot of memories between all three of them. And it was such a heartbreaking story, and it was a really good read. Next we have Perfect Wreckage, which follows Kiana and Crosby, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Kiana is one of Belle's best friends, and Crosby we have met again in the previous book. He's like a super fun and outgoing character, but here we found out that he actually has a lot of commitment issues, so to speak. He doesn't let anyone in, and he and Kenna have instant chemistry, explosive chemistry, so they decided to start sleeping together. And I know it is a recipe for disaster, but still. But Kenna is still recovering because she used to be pregnant and she lost a baby, so now she still feels that incredible loss, and she doesn't let anyone in because her ex was the worst. But she decides to go there with Crosby because there's just something about him, and it's just I'm trying not to spoil things, but this one is one of my favorites again. It was such an amazing read, and I can't wait to reread. We have Wrecked Palace, which follows Griffin and Kaylin, which I gave 4.75 out of 5 stars. And this is again another favorite of mine. And this one we have Kaylin, which has taken custody of her siblings and now is living in this small town. And her friends Kenna and Belle also help out a lot with the children. So Griffin is like this broody, grumpy but super quiet guy that she keeps seeing around in her diner, and she feels like she wants to see all his smiles because he doesn't smile much, and she keeps feeling drawn to him. But yeah, then we get to know Griffin, and he's like the sweetest, softest character ever. But he also had he felt incredible loss because he lost his family in a boating accident, and he just doesn't want to become close again to anyone because if he does, he fears that he's gonna lose them. But when something happens to Kaylin and the children, he takes them up to live with him because his house is like a fortress. He has security everywhere, and he wants them to feel safe. But he becomes in love with everyone, including Kaylin, the children, and everyone. So this is another single parent trope basically, and one of my favorites, and I love this so much. We have my least favorite in the series. I know, shocking, and that is Reckless Rescue, which follows Hay and Bodhi, and I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This is the most loved book in the series by everyone, but for me it wasn't the best. The other ones, in my opinion, were so much better. So in this one we have Say, which she works in this remote island close to this small town because she is running from her sociopath brother after he murdered her family basically. Then Brody comes to the island after having bought it from the previous owners. He keeps Say still to upkeep the island. So, but they keep feeling drawn to one another. They start to become closer and be friends. And then some stuff catching up with Brody, because he's an artist, but his art was used in some killings in the city. A serial killer took inspiration from his work, so that is a lot to deal with. So he basically left and is looking for some solitude to process and become close with his art again because he feels like he lost a part of him. But then he sees Sei, who is like this broken thing that has so much talent and so much stuff that in her, but she also keeps a lot of secret because she doesn't want anyone to know her true identity. So it's super interesting. Finally, we have Beneath the Wreckage, which follows Hunter and Piper, and I gave it 4.75 out of 5 stars. This is again another favorite of mine. I loved Hunter so much. He's one of my favorite guy characters in this series. And this is like a workplace romance, and Piper is moving into the small town to start a hotel sort of situation, and Hunter is the constructor that is going to work there, and he has a rule that he doesn't do he doesn't mix business with pleasure. But one look at Piper and he's like gone, and Piper can't stop feeling the attraction between them. Also, they have this deep understanding of each other's feelings without ever being close or having met before, and I just love that. Then some stuff start happening around the property, compromising the safety of Piper. So Hunter steps up and is like super protective. And in the meantime, they also start to date, and I love it so much. Next, we have the Satyr Alexis, which is her most oldest series, and the one that I finished most recently. And the first book in the series is Beautiful Broken Pieces, and it follows Taylor and Walker, which I gave 4 stars. Now in this one we have Taylor is this character that has shut down again and has just moved in, I believe, but keeps everyone at an arm's reach. He doesn't want to get too close. But Walker takes one look at her and he's like, this is the one. And even though they both struggle to admit it, that they have feelings for one another, they decide to be friends. Then one night, Walker like can't stand it anymore, so he kisses her, and they're like, oh my god, this is so right. And they start to date, and it's like super serious from the beginning, and I love it. Walker is like the sweetest character, and that is such a nice change of pace, because usually when the first one is the sheriff, he's like this grumpy, broody guy, but Walker is like super soft and adorable, and I love him so much. Also, we see Taylor running a lot here, pushing Walker away, but he won't have it, and I just love it. We have Beautifully Broken Life, and this follows Tessa and Liam, and I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. And this one, I think it's a friends to lover situation. I don't remember much, I'm so sorry. But Liam, I believe, is a famous singer that comes in the small town for a while to escape the spotlight, basically, because I think there is a stalker involved. Tessa is this super quiet girl, and basically Liam is struggling for inspiration, but he only is able to get it when Tessa is near her. But Tessa is super afraid of men because her ex used to be abusive, I believe, so she ran away and changed her name, and basically tries to keep a low profile so he doesn't find her. And it was such an interesting story, and I had so much fun reading it, and again, super emotional. Next we have Beautiful Broken Spirit, and this one is following Tak and Jensen, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, we have friends to lovers, but also a best friend's sister. So yeah, Jensen is Walker's sister, and she's struggling a lot with the fact that something that happened to Taylor in the first book, she feels like it's her fault. And then we have Tak, who has always been there for Jensen. They share this deep connection from the beginning, and now he's basically there for her because she only opens up and expresses it when Tak is around, because she feels too guilty with everyone. She has sort of sat down and is working herself to the bone. So Tak is taking it upon herself to help her move on, basically, or just take a breath and not running herself ragged, because her child Noah is also worried, and basically everyone is worried for her. So yeah, we have Beautifully Broken Control, which follows Kennedy and Kane, and I gave 4.75 out of 5 stars. This one took me completely by surprise. At first I was like, Kane is not like super good, but as soon as he was introduced, I was like, hard eyes and everything. I was like, oh my god, he's super hot and I love him. So Kane has suffered a death in his past that he feels responsible for, and basically he won't let anyone near him, and he has a lot of trust issues. Then we have Kennedy, who has changed her identity, got herself a new name, and is basically started a new life because of something that happened with her family. Her father stole a lot of money from a lot of people that resulted in a few deaths, and she feels like it's her fault because she used to live this extravagant life. So she turned her father into the FBI and then changed her name and ran away. And basically now she's living paycheck to paycheck and always grateful for the success she has, and tries to make up for that by working in a shelter. And we see her suffering from a lot of guilt. So Kane is basically really pushy with the fact that he wants to know everything about Kennedy, but at the same time he doesn't want her to know anything about him, even though they start dating and they are incredible together, basically. But at the end of the day, they figure it out and they are incredible together. Another book on this series is Beautifully Broken Redemption, which follows Anna and Mason, and I gave 4.75 out of 5 stars. Anna we meet in the previous book because she's working in the shelter with Kennedy, but she is also in a weird situation because she had gone to juvie because of something that she didn't do, but her parents didn't believe her, her sister didn't believe her, basically she went to prison. So when her sister decides to move back with her now in the present with her children, she feels super happy because she feels like she finally believes her and as a soldier. But then her sister dies and leaves her children to Anna. But then her parents, who were abusive, try to take custody of them, so she needs to fight it in court. So Mason volunteers to help her by marrying her because he has a perfect record. He's also a really good guy. So they decide to get married in order to get the custody of her sister's children, basically. But I also love that Mason is like this super sweet and soft and adorable guy, and he's like the best, and I love him. He's like a cinnamon roll and he's just amazing. We see them having a chemistry from the beginning, but Anna doesn't want to go there with him because it feels like she can't trust anyone because her previous boyfriend betrayed her and she ended up in jail. So she doesn't want to take a chance, but they can ignore the feelings, so they start to be together, but there are a lot of emotional and actual obstacles showing up, and I love watching them overcome them, and it was just amazing. And I want to talk about her newest released series, and that is the Lost and Found series, which will have 4 books. First one is Whispers of You, which follows Holt and Ren, and it's going to release in January 31st, and I'm super excited for it. I did request an act, but unfortunately I didn't get it, but it's okay. I'm still excited to read these books, and it's a second chance friends to lovers trope, I believe. And then we have Echoes of You, and Glimmers of You, and Shadows of You. And I'm super excited because I think all these books are gonna release in 2023, and I'm just so here for it. So that's it for my video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this author guide, and I hope I convince you to pick up any of Catherine Cowles' books. So like, subscribe, stick around, and I will see you for my next video very soon. Bye!